from the Bob Devaney Sports Center in Lincoln. Your Nebraska ETV network, in association with KOLN KGIN TV, presents the Nebraska Boys State High School Basketball Tournament. Funded in part by over 33,000 contributing members of Nebraskans for Public Television.
Hello and welcome to the Devaney Sports Center for the telecast of what will be the first of 6 state boys high school championship games. I'm Dick Janda, and with me to call the action today, Jeff Schmall. Jeff, we've seen a lot of excitement in the opening rounds of the tournament and big crowds. We expect the same again today.
Boy, I tell you, last night here at the Sports Center was incredible. The most people I've ever seen in this place. They were sitting in the aisles. Over 18,000 attended the evening session. We're going to shatter the all-time attendance record. We saw some great games, and it should be a great final Saturday.
The first championship game is the C2 matchup between Grant and Deshler, and we'll be back with that after this timeout.
We're proud we can bring sports programs like today's basketball tournaments to every home in Nebraska. But we wouldn't be able to do this without your help. Even though these phones won't ring today, we still need you. If you like today's programming, consider making a pledge, $20 or more, to Nebraskans for Public Television. Send your check to Nebraskans for Public Television, Post Office Box 83111, Department M, Lincoln, Nebraska 68501.
The Class C2 State Boys Championship, the first of 6 state championship games to be telecast today. The Deshler Dragons, 20-3, unranked in one newspaper, number 9 in the other, and the number 1 rated Grant Plainsmen, 21-1. Should be a good game to start our telecast today. For Deshler, they'll start Casey Fangmeyer and Kurt Simonson at the guards, with Murray Hagen and Corey Wilbeck at the forwards and Greg Smith at center. Smith and Wilbeck are the leading scorers for Deshler. Wilbeck averaging 14.7 points per game and Smith 13.0. For Grant, they start Todd Siskel and Troy Pritchett at the guards, Troy Terwilliger and Kerry Lowe at the forwards, and Carl Lundquist at center. They have 4 men that average in double figures. Grant starts 2 juniors, 2 seniors, and 1 sophomore, while the Deshler Dragons have 4 seniors in their starting lineup and 1 junior. Deshler hasn't been here at the state tournament since 1985, and in fact, Jeff, haven't been here very often at all. Grant is just the opposite.
Well, that is the big contrast here. Grant has been, especially in the 80s, one of the powers in this state tournament. In Class C, they have done better than any other team in the state, whereas Deshler, this is only their 2nd trip to the state tournament in 49 years. And you'd have to consider that Grant would be the favorite going into this game. Although Deshler has played some pretty tough competition, that 20-3 record might be a little deceiving.
The only loss that Deshler had other than to Sutton and Sandy Creek was to Diller in the first game of the year, while Grant's lone loss this year has been to Imperial. Grant has won 5 state basketball championships over the years, while, as Jeff said, Deshler has only been here at state. This is the 2nd time, 3rd time actually, in 49 years. Grant will be in the red uniforms with white numerals and white trim. Deshler will be in white with purple numerals and purple trim. The officials today for this game are Mike Culver and Mike Peters, and with the play-by-play of this first telecast, here's Jeff Small.
Thank you, Dick. We're set to go for the 1989 Boys State Basketball Tournament. Here's the tip-off. It will go out of bounds, and it will go over to Deshler, or Grant, rather. Grant will get the ball. Deshler in the white, Grant in the red. This is Grant with a basketball. Troy Pritchett and Todd Siskel are the guards. They like to work it inside. This is Terwilliger. No, he's short. And here come the Deshler Dragons. Deshler pushing the ball up the floor. Nice save underneath. The shot is good by Greg Smith. Schmidt gets the hoop after a nice save by Casey Fangmeyer. Here comes Grant the other way. Troy Pritchett. Pritchett to Lundquist. Carl hits it. Carl is the 6'5" senior. He leads Grant in scoring this season. A nice player at 6'5" who can shoot both inside and outside.
To get here to the state finals, Grant beat Walt Hill 60-51 in the opening round, then beat Kennesaw 59-56 in the semifinals yesterday.
That was Schmidt with a miss. And here comes Grant the other way. It's 2-all in this ball game, the Class C2 state championship. Terwilliger out top to Siskel. He'll take it. No good, but underneath it's Lowe. Harry Lowe has the basket on the putback. Here comes Deshler the other way. That's Corey Wilbeck bringing it up. Wilbeck, a 6'4" senior. Throw it out to the point guard, Kurt Simonson. Simonson and Hogan. On the baseline, Schmidt. Work it at the foul, and Lowe has the rebound. Terwilliger, he's just a sophomore, but a good player. And Troy can't get that one to fall. It's kicked around, and coming away is Casey Fangmeyer. Fangmeyer lobs underneath. Fight for the ball, and it will go off of Grant. Terwilliger and Lundquist were fighting for it, and it went off one of the Grant players.
Deshler beat Shelby 69-55 in the opening round here at state, then beat Spencer Naper 48-39 in the semifinals yesterday morning, actually. Spencer Naper had been unbeaten.
Our first personal foul, and that was on Troy Pritchard. And I think in that game against Spencer Naper, Dick, we saw just what this Deshler team can do, winning by 9. They really had a great third quarter in that game. At one point, they scored 16 straight points. Jumper in and out by Casey Fangmeyer, and Lowe with the strong rebound again. That's already 3 rebounds for Corey Lowe. Terwilliger bounds around, no good. There's Lowe with his 4th rebound. Terry Lowe, a 6'2" senior, has 4 points and 4 rebounds, and we've only played 2.5 minutes. It's a 6-2 lead for Grant. And there is almost a turnover for Siskel as he got the near steal, but it went out of bounds.
Grant, of course, with the state tournament tradition that we talked about, Grant also won the state Class C2 football title this past fall. So they're going for a double here in football and basketball in 88-89.
Jumper on the way is in and out by Fangmeyer. And there was Lowe with his 5th rebound. It's knocked away from behind. Kurt Simonson knocked it away. Schmidt came up with it, but then Schmidt throws it out of bounds. As Hagen couldn't control it. Got a couple substitutions. Lenny Fangmeyer checks in, as does Russ Hoffmeyer for Deshler.
Hoffmeyer is a 6'5" senior. There you see him. Lenny Fangmeyer is a 6'1" senior, and both of these players play quite a bit. They each average right around 5 and 6 points per game off the bench.
Here's that half-court trapping defense, which Deshler is known for. On the baseline, Lundquist can't get it to fall, but with the rebound is Siskel. No, and there is Lowe for rebound number 6. I tell you, Terry Lowe is doing a job on the board, Dick.
Grant is not a real tall team. Lundquist is their tallest man at 6'5". Deshler, not tall either. Corey Wilbeck at 6'4" and Greg Schmidt at 6'3" are their 2 tallest starters. And we are in the first quarter. We played about 3 minutes, and Grant leads it 6-2. Back with more after this. Grant has opened up a 6-2 lead on Deshler here in the C2 Boys State Championship. The Grant coach, Larry Pritchett, says they want to be known as Grant. Now, you may have seen them being called Perkins County during the season and during the tournament. They are also called Perkins County, but they want to be called Grant today. The 3-point shot missed by Troy Pritchett. And here comes Deshler quickly the other way. Russ Hoffmeyer is fouled by Todd Siskel.
That is his second. Big key in this game so far, Dick. Grant has out-rebounded Deshler 8-3.
Larry Pritchett is in his 12th year at Grant. He's been the head coach 9 of those 12 years. Deshler's Ron Streit has been with the Dragons 11 years as their head coach.
Underneath, Fangmeyer, no good. Tip try. It's controlled by Wilbeck, and Corey can't get it to fall. And now we have a whistle. I believe they caught Murray Hagen for the personal. Be interesting to see, Dick, if they will count that as a missed shot by Corey. He threw the ball across court, and it hit the rim.
Coach Pritchett said before the game that a key for his team would be controlling things inside and trying to keep the Deshler inside game in check. So they've certainly done that here to start out with that rebounding advantage.
Siskel is short on the three. He gets his own rebound, though. Todd Siskel, a 5'10 junior. There's Lundquist, and it's good for Carl. That makes it 8-2.
Of the 8 Grant points, 4 have been scored by Lowe and 4 now by Lundquist.
And Grant has scored 8 straight. And the ball will go off the hands of Corey. No, I thought it went off Corey Wilbeck, but the officials say no, and so Deshler will maintain possession. Lenny Fangmeyer goes right side to his cousin Casey. And Casey Fangmeyer is short. Lowe has his 8th rebound. Here comes Grant. All the way across court. Terwilliger passes into Lowe. Fight for the rebound. We have a jump ball between Fangmeyer and Lowe. I have a feeling that Kerry Lowe probably played football on that state champion Grant team. He's a big physical kid.
They did win the C2 state football title. Into the game for Deshler. Murray Hagen back in, number 33. And already a good crowd gathering, even though it's early in the morning. The state boys basketball attendance record is going to be shattered this year.
Corey Wilbeck, a three-pointer. And that makes it 8-5. The first 3 points, or 2 points rather, since the opening minutes. And there's a foul on Russ Hoffmeyer.
You know, Jeff, the three-point shot was just instituted in high school basketball in Nebraska last year. It sure seems longer than that. It seems like it's been around a long time, but this is really just the second year for the three-point arc in high school play, and that's the first of many I'm sure we'll see today and tonight.
And it has really made a difference in both the boys and girls game, and I think for the positive, we were getting so used to seeing basketball in the high school and college level. It seemed like the team with the taller players always seemed to win. They'd pound it inside, and now it's really opened things up.
Kind of put shooting back into the game. Greg Smith is back into the game for Deshler, and Ross Hoffmeyer goes out.
Hoffmeyer with 2 fouls. Troy Terwilliger makes the first charity toss and does likewise with the second. That makes it 10-5.
Talking about that Grant state champion football team, Terwilliger was the quarterback on the team and one of the top players for the football team.
Troy Pritchett picks up his second personal foul. That was a good example there. A nice pick was set by Lenny Fangmeyer, but somebody's got to call out the help. The defensive player who has Fangmeyer has to call out those picks, and no one did, and unfortunately, Troy Pritchett picked up his second personal. This is Deshler with the ball. Kurt Simonson. Up top to Corey Wilbeck. That's Lenny Fangmeyer. Underneath, inside, Smith throws it back out to Hawkins. Corey can't make it go down, and there's Lowe with another rebound. Grant, a 10-5 lead. Lundquist had a notion, didn't take it. Williger won't hit it, and a nice rebound. That time by Lenny Fangmeyer. Lenny will bring it up. They'll get it inside to Smith. No good. Underneath, though, the rebound pulled down by Murray Hagen. Three-pointer by Simonson is banked in. Just a 2. He had his foot on the line. Simonson makes it go down, and that's a 10-7 game. Grant having no trouble with that half-court trap. Siskel, they get it inside to Lowe. Back to Siskel. No good. There's Lowe, and he'll be called for the foul. That will be the first personal on Carey. I tell you, Carey Lowe is on track to set what would have to be a state record, I would think. He's got 10 rebounds, Dick, and we haven't played the entire first quarter.
He averaged 8.4 rebounds a game coming into the tournament, so he is really cleaning the glass early here.
He's the low post player for the Grant Plainsmen, and so far no one checking him off underneath. Simonson does a good job, passes off. Nice jumper by Murray Hagen. And we have a 10-9 ball game. Deshler battled back since trailing 8-2. Just over 1 minute left in this first quarter of action in the Class C2 state championship game between the Grant Plainsmen and Deshler Dragons. This is Grant with a basketball. David Swan with it. He's checked in for the Grant Plainsmen. Terwilliger, nice fake. Terwilliger has 4. Lundquist also with 4, and Lowe with 4. The only 3 to score for the Grant Plainsmen. Hagen faked the shot. They'll set it back up with Simonson. Wilbeck will shoot it from 18, just off. Fight underneath for the rebound, and it's saved, but into the hands of Terwilliger. Here comes Grant. Lowe with 30 seconds remaining in the first quarter. Let's see if the Plainsmen go for one.
Their coaches are signaling for them to do that.
Lundquist doesn't see it. He's short. Terwilliger with a nice rebound. The move inside, still no good. Terwilliger has it again, and this time it falls for Troy. 10 seconds left. It's 14-9. Deshler, we're down to 5 seconds. Simonson tries to get the pass inside. Desperation shot is no good. And we've played 1 quarter, and the Grant Plainsmen lead Deshler 14-9. Grant leads it 14-9 after 1 quarter of play. And here was some nice action underneath by Troy Terwilliger, a 6'2 sophomore. Troy didn't get the first one to fall, but he kept it alive. And the second time he got the bounce, and the Plainsmen lead it 14-9.
Grant is 6 for 20 in field goal shooting in the first quarter, 0 for 3 from the three-point area. Deshler 4 for 15, so both teams a little bit cold in that first quarter. But the big statistic in the first period, Grant out-rebounding Deshler 16-6, and Lowe with 10 of those 16 Grant rebounds.
Jamie Schnackenberg has checked into the Deshler lineup. He's number 24. He got that last rebound for Deshler. But the Dragons turn it over on the other end. Lowe on the baseline. Yes. Carey Lowe makes it 16-9. Grant in front.
And I just checked. Lowe was on the football team. He was a running back for the state champion Grant football team.
Casey Fangmeyer inside. Wilbeck. Corey, nice turnaround. Has 5. A fall-away turnaround by Corey Wilbeck. And it's 16-11 early in the second quarter. The Plainsmen break that half-court pressure. That's what really turned around Deshler's game against Spencer Napier yesterday, was that half-court pressure. Terwilliger almost losing it was Swan, but then Swan is followed by Casey Fangmeyer, his first.
The Class C1 state championship follows this game. That will match Sutton and Sandy Creek. And then the D2 championship between Hildreth and Hampton closes our afternoon session. Tonight, Falls City Sacred Heart and Maxwell in D1, Pius and Wahoo in Class B, and Columbus and Millard South in Class A.
The bucket outside by Carey Lowe, and he now has 8 points. Carey Lowe doing a job. 8 points and 10 rebounds so far. Underneath, the pass a little bit too hard. Greg Smith couldn't handle it. Corey Wilbeck threw it a bit too hard, and on the turnover, Grant will take possession. The Grantmen's biggest lead. They enjoy it right now at 7 points. They'd like to make it 9. Terwilliger from 15. No. Underneath. The rebound by Siskel, and he's fouled.
Grant is located in the western part of the state. Deshler in the southeast to south central. So the two communities a long ways apart geographically, but they meet here in the state C2 finals.
Driscoll gets the first free throw to fall. I tell you, if Deshler does not do a better job on the boards, the Dragons are in for a long afternoon. 17-7, they've been out-rebounded, and now they trail it 20-11 as Driscoll gets both free throws to fall. Biggest lead of the game for the Grant Plainsmen. That's Knockenberg. Throw it around the perimeter. Wilbeck. Casey Fangmeyer. Smith. Lenny Fangmeyer, yes.
Lenny Fangmeyer gets it down, and it's 20-13. 5:45 left in this first half of action in the Class C2 championship. Lowe almost traveled with it. Here's Terwilliger. Has it knocked around. And now the Plainsmen set up their half-court offense. Lowe, he's had the hot hand. Lundquist throws it back out top, and they can't save it. Right in front of us. David Swan tried to save it. He couldn't do it. And we've got a timeout on the floor where Grant leads Deshler 20-13 midway through the second quarter. Grant had a 14-9 lead over Deshler at the end of the quarter. Had led by as many as 9, and now it's 20-13. Grant leading with 5:21 to go first half. Casey Fangmeyer bringing it up against the pressure by Pritchett. That's Fangmeyer. Casey's bank shot won't go in. Lowe has the rebound, and Terry has 11 boards in this game already. Terry leads all scorers with 8 points. The one trouble with the zone defense, Dick, is it's harder to block out. Fangmeyer with the steal, and we have a tie-up. Oh, a foul. Oh, a foul. They're going to call a foul on Cisco. The Grant crowd doesn't like it. And that will be the second foul on Cisco. But that is one problem with a zone defense is you don't have responsibility to check out someone. And I tell you, Kerry Lowe has been on the board, and there you see the foul. Good call, it looked like. Shooting 1-1, this will be Jamie Knockenberg, a 5'9" junior. He has yet to score in the state tournament. Here comes Grant the other way as Terwilliger pulled down the board. Across the way, three-pointer by Cisco. Todd Cisco. And it's a 10-point lead, 23-13. Fangmeyer on top. It's Knockenberg, no good. Carl Lundquist pulled that board. Nice job of defense that time, but it's still pulled down by Grant. That was Lenny Fangmeyer with the defense. Here's Lenny with a basketball. Inside Wilbeck. No. Deshler just cannot buy anything, and they're not getting any offensive rebounds at all. I don't know if Deshler's even gotten an offensive rebound that I recall. Lundquist is short, but he's fouled by Lenny Fangmeyer. That will be Lenny's second. There are 3 Fangmeyers on the Deshler team. Casey and Jason Fangmeyer are brothers. Jason is just a freshman. And Casey and Lenny Fangmeyer are cousins. Casey and Lenny have both played here in this game. David Swan back into the game for Grant, and Todd Cisco goes out. Nothing but net on the first free throw by Carl Lundquist. It's up to an 11-point lead, 24-13, 3:34 left. Here in the second quarter.
Grant has not missed from the free throw line so far. 5 for 5, and now it's 6 for 6. And we're up to a 12-point lead. Deshler trailed Spencer Napier yesterday by 5 in the third quarter before ripping off 16 straight points to take control of that game. Nice turnaround one-hander by Greg Schmidt. No, that wasn't Schmidt. It was Russ Hoffmeyer. Russ Hoffmeyer, a 6'5 senior. Beautiful shot. Low on the baseline. They get it to Terwilliger. Nice trap. But Troy evades it and then gets the hoop to go down. And that's 8 points for Troy Terwilliger. He was triple teamed on the baseline, but still got 3. Just a sophomore, Terwilliger came into the tournament averaging 13.5 points a game and came into this game scoring 40 in the first 2 rounds. Now it's Greg Schmidt for 2. And it's back to a 10-point game, 27-17. Here's that half-court trap, and they'll get the turnover. Here come the Deshler Dragons. Casey Fangmeyer, too strong, and strong with a rebound is Lundquist. Here come the Plainsmen pushing it up the floor. Swan is fouled. On the floor, Casey Fangmeyer, and he's whistled for his second personal. And David Swan will go to the line to try to keep the Plainsmen perfect from that spot. They're 6 of 6. Couple of substitutions, 6. Tim Andreessen, a 6-foot junior, comes in, and Carl Lundquist will get a rest. Also back in is Kurt Simonson for Deshler. And now there's timeout on the court with 2:19 to go in the half. And the score here in the C2 Boys State Championship, Grant 27, Deshler 17.
Today, we're bringing you complete coverage of basketball tournaments with no interruptions. But even though these phones won't ring, we still need your support. If you like what we're doing today, consider making a pledge of $20 or more to Nebraskans for Public Television. Send your check to Nebraskans for Public Television, Post Office Box 83111, Department M, Lincoln, Nebraska 68501.
Deshler's only losses this year to Diller in the first game of the season. As you look at Larry Pritchett, the head coach for Grant. Besides that loss to Diller, the only other 2 Deshler losses to Sutton and Sandy Creek, the 2 teams that will be meeting in the C1 state championship following this game. David Swan makes the first, earns the bonus, and knocks that down. 8 for 8, Grant in free throws. 0 for 1 for Deshler. And it's 29-17. That was Todd Siskel, number 10, you saw there, coming back into the game, and Swan goes to the bench. This is Kurt Simonson. Greg Schmidt. Wilbeck looked at the three-pointer. Schmidt turns around. It won't fall. And with the rebound, that was Tim Andreessen. And Schmidt went to the court. He apparently got kicked in the shin or maybe turned an ankle a little bit. He's going limping to the bench. And so Schmidt goes out with the injury. That would really further hurt the Deshler cause.
It really would. He's the second leading scorer on the season for Deshler.
Averaging 13 points a game, has had 29 in the first 2 games thus far at the state tournament. Terwilliger sets it back out to Pritchett. Low, they'll work the perimeter. Lundquist is on the bench right now, so Terwilliger playing that high post. And Andreessen is at the low post. There Andreessen pops out. Tim will take the shot. Won't get it to fall, but Lowe has it. Although Carey is called for the personal, his second. And just as we did last week during the girls' state tournament, we will be making an announcement at halftime of each of these state championship games of the coaches' all-state team. As you take another look at that last action, the foul called on 34 there, Kerry Lowe.
I think he looked the guiltiest there. That's why he got the personal.
And so the C2 boys all-state team will be announced at halftime. Corey Wilbeck gets the first. It's 29-18, 1:24 left in this second quarter. Grant leads it. Nothing but net for Wilbeck on the second. That half-court trap has not forced too many turnovers. Underneath, Andreessen fakes and gets it to fall. Nice hoop by Tim. 31-19. Simonson throws it out. Knockenberg off the baseline. Fangmeyer can't get it to fall. Underneath, Hoffmeyer, no. And coming down to the strong rebound is Pritchett. Troy, fast break to Lowe. It's good by Kerry Lowe. He has 10. And it's a 33-19 game. A 14-point lead. Biggest of the game for the Grant Plainsmen. 40 seconds left. On the baseline, the jumper is good by Kurt Simonson. Simonson, rather. Looks like they'll play for one shot here. 15 seconds left. Grant working the ball around. 5 seconds outside. The shot no good by Pritchett. Here's Deshler. The Dragons do not get a shot off. And Deshler trails it at the half, 33-21. Down by 12 are the Deshler Dragons. It's a good first half for the Grant Plainsmen as they lead it 33-21. Kerry Lowe really doing a job. He had 10 points in the first half and 11 rebounds for Grant. And now Dick Janda is with the Grant coach, Larry Pritchett. Let's go over to Dick.
Coach, things have gone very well for Grant here in this first half.
Well, our kids came out and played very calmly, which, that's important in a game like this. And we hit the basket pretty well. But I've really been pleased with our defense and our rebounding. I thought, I was a little worried there coming in, but so far we've done a good job.
Talked about before the game that it would be important to control things inside, and you've really had a big rebounding advantage here in this first half.
Well, I say the kids have done a good job. I know even our guards are rebounding a little bit in there, which is a plus for us anytime when they can rebound. But, it's there's another 2 quarters. There's a lot of ball to be played. Hopefully we can continue to do what we're doing.
All right, Coach, good luck the second half.
All right, thank you very much.
Okay, and we'll be back with the second half of this C2 state championship game and more here at halftime after this timeout. Halftime here at the C2 Boys State Championship game with Grant leading Deshler 33-21. Well, just as we did during the girls' state tournament last week, we have balloted all the coaches throughout the state for the all-state players, the best players from each class. During halftime, we'll be announcing each of those players throughout our 6th state championship telecast today. So the first up is the C2 Boys State All-State team. So now here is the C2 coaches 10-11 All-State team. At one of the guards, Jason Dworick of Lincoln Christian. A 5'6" senior, Jason averaged 25 points and 6 assists per game this season. At the other guard, Mark Sidlick of East Butler. A 6'1" senior, Mark averaged 23 points and 8 rebounds a game. At center, Carl Lundquist of Grant. Carl, a 6'5" senior, averaged 14 points and 7 rebounds a game. At one of the forwards, Greg Fletcher of Oxford. A 6'2" senior, Greg averaged 18 points and 11 rebounds per contest. And at the other forward, David Winget of Walt Hill. A 6'2" senior, David averaged 21 points and 11 rebounds per game. On the honorable mention list from Class C2, Matt Bolton of Dorchester, Corey Fuscher of Emerson Hubbard, Steve Lundstrom of Stromsburg, Willie Kerwin of Spencer Napier, and Greg Romas of Kennesaw. And that's the 1989 Class C2 Coaches All-State Team. Joining me now is Greg Shepard, the coach of the Lincoln Christian team. 4 of the defending champions from last year are back this year. The only 2 that didn't return, Lincoln Christian and Atkinson West Hold, both of the C teams in C2 and C1. Greg, your thoughts about the C2 All-State team this year? You have one player on it there in Jason Dvorak.
I thought it was a very excellent pick by the coaches, and from what I've seen, it's a very tall team with the exception of Jason. But I think it's a very good pick.
Outstanding season for Lincoln Christian, even though you didn't return to state this year.
Oh yeah, I was real happy with our season. We were 17-4, and the kids really played hard all year long, gave it their best. There was a lot of pressure to return back because we did have a good team this year, but cards just didn't fall. But we had a real good year, and I was very happy with it.
Your thoughts about this first half? Grant has kind of opened things up here over Deshler.
Yeah, they're a very tough team inside. They're really going to the boards. They've out-rebounded them on the offensive boards by a lot, and so they've done an excellent job there. And Deshler's just going to have to start boxing out and getting those boards.
Of course, you're one in the long line of Shepherd coaches. Your dad coaching over at Elmwood, and you've got some brothers involved again, too.
Right. They made it to the state tournament, Dawson Verdon this year, and so it's kind of exciting getting to go watch them. And it was kind of funny how Dad lost his district first, and then we lost ours, and so we went down and watched Mark's team play, and we told him, now you're the last one, so you've got to do it.
All right. Well, Greg, thanks very much for being with us, and good luck in the future at Lincoln Christian.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. And again, we'll be announcing all of the All-State teams during halftimes of each of the telecasts here today. Right now, we'll be back with more at halftime of the C2 state title game after this timeout. Back at the Devaney Sports Center, we're here at halftime. Grant is leading Deshler 33-21. Joining me is the Deshler coach, Ron Streit. Coach, your thoughts about what it'll take to get this 12-point deficit overcome in the second half?
Okay, I don't think we're in too bad a shape right now. All we got to do is start getting a little bit better, do a little bit better job on the rebounds, and start executing our offense a little bit. I think we're a little bit intimidated with their defense, and we're rushing our shots just a little bit. And I think if we can do that, relax a little bit in this third quarter, we'll be right back in the ballgame.
What were some of the things you talked about at halftime?
We talked about a little bit on defensive intensity, blocking out on the board, keeping them off the free throw line, taking our time in our offense, be a little bit more patient, and the shots will start falling. We're only shooting about 30% right now. If the shots start falling, we'll be right back in it.
You had an injury there toward the end of the half. What's the situation there?
Well, he's in the trainer's room right now, and we anticipate he'll be back in the third quarter sometime.
Is it an ankle or?
Yeah, he re-sprained an ankle. He sprained 2 weeks ago, I believe it was.
All right, Coach. Good luck the second half.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Ron Streit, the head coach at Deshler, and we'll be back with the second half of this C2 state championship game right after this timeout.
We're at halftime of the Class C2 state championship game, and Grant has a 12-point lead over Deshler, 33-21. But I do have to agree, Dick, with Coach Ron Streit that if his team can check off on the boards and get a little bit hot, I think they can play with Grant.
Looks like Grant will start the same 5 that started the game. Todd Siskel and Troy Pritchett at the guards, Troy Terwilliger and Kerry Lowe at the forwards, and Carl Lundquist at center. For Deshler, it'll be Corey Wilbeck and Murray Hagen at the forwards, Casey Fangmeyer and Kurt Simonson at the guards, and Greg Smith will not start the second half. Ross Hoffmeyer will at center as they switch ends, and we're ready to go with the second half.
Smith, of course, the starting center for Deshler. He has that ankle injury. Three-point shot, no good by Simonson, but there's an offensive rebound by Jamie Knackenberg. Smith is also not on the bench for Deshler. He is in the training room. Knackenberg in and out. And that's the way things have gone for Deshler. Rob Lowe with a rebound. Or not Rob Lowe, Kerry Lowe. Rob Lowe, a former Lincoln Northeast star, and that's dating me a little bit from the early 70s.
So now, wait a minute. I thought I saw Rob Lowe in a movie just last week.
Well, that one, too. Here comes Deshler. The Northeast player's more famous. The hoop is good by Jamie Knackenberg. Knackenberg gets it to fall, and it will count. He will go to the free throw line. Corey Wilbeck, rather, got that hoop to go down. Wilbeck now has 9. The foul was on Carl Lundquist of Grant, his first. Free throw doesn't go down. Russ Hoffmeyer had the rebound. Whoa, I thought Hoffmeyer was called for over the back, but instead it went against Lundquist. And that will be Carl's second. Greg Schmidt has come back up now from the training room where they've worked on the ankle that he injured toward the end of the first half. So he's back on the bench now. Corey Wilbeck gives off to Lenny Fangmeyer. Now they get it inside to Hoffmeyer. Back to Wilbeck. No good on the three-pointer. It's tipped around, and it will belong to Grant. Here comes Grant against that three-quarters trap. They almost get the turnover. Lowe has it, though. Lowe sets it up to Terwilliger. Todd Siskel. Out front, Troy Pritchett. Lowe. All the way across. Siskel from the three-point land. Airballs it. And here comes Deshler on a fast break. Fangmeyer tosses it back out. Deshler will set up. Nice job of Grant getting back on defense. Deshler moving the ball a bit quicker on offense right now. Wilbeck takes it. Doesn't get it. Tips around, and Lundquist comes up with it. Grant leading 33-23, opening minutes of the third quarter. Terwilliger. He wanted to take the shot, but didn't. Low will. No good. And who's the foul on? The foul will go against Russ Hoffmeyer. That is his third. Grant has led by as many as 14 in this game. They led by 12 at halftime and lead it by 10 with 5:42 to go here, third quarter. Here's Grant working the ball around the perimeter. Three-point shot by Siskel is good. Todd Siskel has 8. And it's 36-23. Grant up to a 13-point lead. Wilbeck in and out underneath. Hoffmeyer loses it, but is fouled. I tell you, it looks like Russ Hoffmeyer has come out in the second half, Dick, and decided to take over underneath on the boards, and he has done just that. Greg Schmidt is going to come back into the game now for Deshler. Schmidt, the 6'3" center who went out toward the end of the half with that ankle injury, but he's going to come in for Hoffmeyer when he comes back in, and Hoffmeyer is shooting the free throws right now. First shot is off by Russ. He's a 6'5" senior. Now we've got a substitution for Grant. David Swan comes in. Todd Siskel puts it down. Second shot is blocked by Hoffmeyer, but it goes down, and we're back to a 12-point game, which is what it was at the half. Schmidt back in there now. We'll see how he can go on that ankle. It has been an aggravated ankle injury, something that he had suffered earlier in the season and was aggravated in the first half. Lowe gets it across the timeline to Lundquist. Now it's Grant against that 2-3 zone. Terwilliger, he's good in there. It's good for Troy Terwilliger. He now is in double figures with 10. The quarterback, the sophomore quarterback on the Grant State champion football team, and he and Kerry Lowe lead the Grant scoring today with 10 points apiece. On the baseline, the shot is long, but underneath it, the putback is good by Schmidt. Simonson couldn't get it to fall, but Schmidt is there. Grant really did not fast break much in that first half, and maybe Deshler sending a few more guys to the offensive boards. They've gotten more offensive rebounds really in this first 3.5 minutes of the second half than I think they got the entire first half. Terwilliger. Soft shot doesn't fall. Underneath Lowe. Yes, by Kerry Lowe. He has 12. Kurt Simonson almost has it stolen away by Lowe. Spangmeyer inside. This is Smith. No, Lundquist has it. And we have a foul on Smith. A little bit of a frustration foul on Greg's part. His second. The team scores. We will take a timeout in the C2 State Championship game where Grant leads Deshler 40-26. You know, it's interesting, Jeff. All 5 of the starters from last year's Grant team are back this year, but yet there are only 2 seniors in their starting lineup. So Grant looks like they've got a good future ahead of them. Yeah, they do lose their 2 biggest players, Lundquist and Lowe. So they will be a much smaller team next year, but I'm sure that the Grant Plainsmen will be a good one. This is Terwilliger. He's only a sophomore. And Troy hits it. He's fouled. Nope, the foul away from the ball on Lowe as he was fighting for rebound positioning. Terwilliger now has 12, and that is the 3rd personal on Kerry Lowe. The basket will count. The foul away from the ball, or away from the shot anyway, on the fight for the rebound. Deshler now trails by 16. Biggest lead of the game, 42-26. Underneath, this is Smith. No good. Spangmeyer couldn't get it to fall either, and now Lowe has the rebound. That's Swan, clear across to Lowe from 15, off the glass. Nice shot by Kerry Lowe. And it is now an 18-point lead. 3 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter, 44-26. Fallaway, Wilbeck gets it to fall. Nice shot by Corey. He now has 11. And really, Deshler has got to get something going on the defensive end. Terwilliger on the baseline is fouled by Greg Smith, his 3rd. Boy, that Troy Terwilliger is a quick player, isn't he? And he's just a sophomore, 6'2". Still got 2 years of high school ahead of him. His father is an assistant coach on the Grant team. Nice shot of Troy there. And he misses. The first free throw miss in the game for Grant. The Plainsmen now 8 of 9. And there's an alternate on the Grant team, Ryan Terwilliger, who's just a freshman, and he's already 6'3". The second one by Troy is good. So maybe they will get some size inside next season as well. Deshler, Wilbeck, almost traveled. One side wanted travel, and the other side wanted a foul, and a 3-point goal is good by Casey Spangmeyer. His first points of the game. And Deshler needs some points like that as it's 45-31. Deshler increasing the pressure on defense. Terwilliger on the baseline. Dribbles away. They'll set it up top to Pritchett. Troy, nice pass underneath the Swan for 2. David Swan's first field goal. He has 4 in the game. And it's 47-31 inside of 2 minutes left in this 3rd quarter. The C2 State Championship game between the Deshler Dragons and Grant Plainsmen. Smith is tied up. Jump ball, nice defense by David Swan, who is a 6-foot junior. Well, Grant has definitely been the team of the 80s in Class C. They won state titles in 81 and 82. Bill Jackman, the leader then. They won the C2 crown in 85. Ryan Young, the star of that team. This is probably one of the most balanced Grant teams we've seen down at state, though, Dick. 5 state championships in all in basketball for Grant. To Williger, no. Fangmeyer with a rebound. Lenny gets it off. Almost a traveling call. Nice block. Getting his own rebound, though, is Casey Fangmeyer. And now we have a foul on Corey Wilbeck. That will be Corey's first. And Deshler wants timeout. Coach Ron Strike wanted timeout on the last whistle and didn't get it. Now he does. We'll keep it here with 58 seconds to go in the third period. Grant leads it by 16 points. They led by 12 at halftime. And there you see the story. Grant, number 1 in Class C2 in the rating. And they've been proving that so far here this afternoon.
Well, some of the teams from out west have taken kind of a beating here at the state tournament, but Grant sure holding up the western end of the state's pride in the state basketball tournament.
Following this game, the C1 state championship between Sutton and Sandy Creek. As you look at the Grant coaches and their huddle, and there's the Deshler huddle. The Southern Nebraska Conference rematch there between Sutton and Sandy Creek in C1. In Class D2 at Hildreth and Hampton. That completes our afternoon session. The D1 title game starts the evening session tonight between Falls City Sacred Heart and Maxwell, to be followed by Pius and Wahoo in a battle of unbeatens, and then the Class A title game between Columbus and Millard South.
Interestingly enough, in the boys' all-time career state tournament scoring leaders, as we got a turnover. That's Lenny Fangmeyer with the turnover. Lenny with a basketball. Throws it away. In the all-time career state tournament scoring leaders, Bill Jackman of Grant is number 1. He has scored 214 points from 1979 to 82. Ryan Young, also of Grant, is number 5 on the list with 198. A couple of guys we'll see in the next game, juniors John and Jay Spearman of Sutton, have 131 and 127 points respectively going into the finals. They are both juniors, so those two next year with a big state tournament, and I have a feeling Sutton will be down here again next year, Dick, could be number 1 and 2 really on that all-time list. So Spearman brothers are just juniors. Shot was short that time by Pritchett. And here comes Deshler the other way. The Dragons trailing by 16. Inside Wilbeck. It won't go down, and Lowe has the rebound. This is Pritchett. The three-pointer close to the end of the third quarter is no good, and Deshler won't get a shot on. The length of the floor shot would not have counted. It didn't go down, and Grant leads it after 3 quarters, 47-31. Grant outscored Deshler 14-10 in the third quarter, led by 12 at halftime, and now by 16 here at the end of 3. Deshler still cold from outside, 4 from 17 from the field in the third quarter, while Grant was 6 of 13. The shot no good by Simonson. Lowe with another rebound on the baseline. It's good by Todd Siskel. Nice hoop underneath, and Grant back to that 18-point lead. Inside, Smith. Almost tied up, but then fouled. Troy Pritchett commits his third. Deshler has improved in the rebounding situation in the third quarter. Deshler actually out-rebounded Grant 10-7 in the third quarter, although for the game, they're still quite a bit behind in the rebounding department. The first one is good by Greg Smith. He now has 7 in the game. The 6'3" senior. Second one is long. Deshler they haven't looked good shooting the ball. A lot of their shots not really that close even. The full court pressure. Troy Pritchett gets it across. That's Kerry Lowe. Out top to Siskel. Lundquist, he hasn't seen the ball a lot here in the second half. In fact, Carl has not scored. Has had 2 field goals in the first quarter, and that's really been it.
had 20 points yesterday in Grant's win over Kennesaw. There's Carey, or rather Carl, and he didn't get it to fall, but it's kept alive by Terwilliger. Low is fouled. That will be whistled on Wilbeck, just his second. And Carey will go to the free throw line to try to add to his game-high 14 points.
Okay, stay where you're at.
49-32 our score. Grant in front in the C2 championship game. Opening minute of the fourth quarter. Lowe doesn't get it to fall. Terry Lowe, he has 16 rebounds in the game and 15 points. A nice double-double. Outside, the shot on the way by Steinmeier is strong. And Lundquist has the rebound. Deshler starting to get to the point where they're going to try those three-pointers. And there's Simonson called. As we saw the screen and no one giving Kurt any help, and so Terwilliger will go to the free throw line. Take a look at it again.
Watch Terwilliger just kind of sneak up there, and Simonson didn't see him.
Rule is you have to give him 3 feet. Shot no good by Terwilliger. And Wilbeck has a strong rebound. Shot no good, though, as Deshler fires quickly. Troy has the rebound, gets it not quite across the timeline yet. Now they do, and that's a 10-second call. It seemed a little quick maybe for 10 seconds.
That's the first one of those we've seen today.
Deshler inbounding the ball, trailing by 18 points. 6 minutes and 10 seconds remaining in the game. Wilbeck across to Simonson. Around the way to Hagen. No good. And underneath, Terwilliger has it. Taken away by Smith. And he's fouled. Nice defense by Greg Smith that time. And the personal will go against Troy Terwilliger.
Smith pretty much having taken off that ankle injury that had him in the dressing room at halftime.
Hagen will sit down. Murray replaced by Jamie Schneckenberg. And there's a timeout on the floor. Grant leading Deshler by 18.
Grant leading it by 18 here, 50-32. That's been the biggest lead in the game. Grant led by 12 at halftime, and now it's 18, and things continue to go sour for Deshler.
Smith misses the first. Gets the second. 17-point lead now for Grant. Plainsmen probably in no hurry now. Terwilliger throws it out. 5 minutes and 30 seconds left. Lundquist turnaround. Nice shot by Carl Lundquist. He has 8. His first field goal, though, since the opening quarter. And it's now a 19-point lead. And there's the turnover. Here comes Cisco. Todd wisely blows it up. Throws it out to Pritchard. Pritchard right side to Lowe. Minutes to go. Grant in control. Terwilliger wants to take the shot and is fouled. I believe that will go against Schneckenberg.
Well, between games today here, between these first 2 games, we'll hear from Nebraska basketball coach Danny Nee. His Cornhuskers lost last night in the Big 8 tournament to Missouri. And for you 10-11 viewers, between sessions here today, between the afternoon and evening sessions, we'll have the Big 8 semifinal game
between Kansas State and Missouri. That should be a good one. Second shot by Terwilliger doesn't go down, but it's a 20-point lead, 53-33. It has been all Grant this afternoon in this C2 championship game. Outside, Knockenberg no good, and Lundquist has the rebound. That's Pritchett, gives off to Terwilliger, inside Lundquist, nice one-hander. Carl Lundquist now in double figures with 10, and it's 55-33. Three-pointer won't fall. Lowe with the rebound. Lundquist will blow it up. Siskel is fouled. Personal against Casey Fangmeyer, his third, and I tell you, this Grant team just seems to be getting more and more confidence all the time. It looks like a double for Grant, the state football and basketball championships in the same year in Class C2, and there's lots of smiles both on the court and on the Grant bench and in their crowd. Free throw is good by Siskel. He now has 11. What an athletic tradition at Grant. This will be the 6th state basketball championship over the years. A lot of schools go for years and years without ever even making it to state. And Grant now will have a half dozen state basketball titles, trophies in their trophy case. Basket was good by Wilbeck. He now has 13. And there's a foul on the baseline. Casey Fangmeyer didn't like the call. That will be his 4th. The other interesting thing, too, Dick, is that Grant will have won 4 state boys basketball titles in the 1980s. There's a break in the action. Grant leading Deshler by 22.
Today, we're bringing you complete coverage of basketball tournaments with no interruptions. But even though these phones won't ring, we still need your support. If you like what we're doing today, consider making a pledge of $20 or more to Nebraskans for Public Television. Send your check to Nebraskans for Public Television, Post Office Box 83111, Department M, Lincoln, Nebraska 68501.
At the free throw line is Todd Siskel. He won't hit it, but Terwilliger has the rebound. Grant fell behind 2-0 in the opening minute, but then the Plainsmen reeled off 8 straight, and they have been in control ever since in this C2 state championship game. Timeout. Nice heads-up call by Pritchett. Pritchett trapped on the sideline. And Dick, 4 state championships in the 1980s in boys basketball is quite an accomplishment by this Grant basketball team. A lot of tradition. Grant took the C2 title in 1985, also in 81 and 82 when Bill Jackman was playing for the Grant team, and also back in 1966, Grant took the state Class C title. A real outstanding athletic tradition for the Grant Plainsmen. Well, the C1 championship game is coming up next following this one. It'll be Sutton and Sandy Creek, 2 Southern Nebraska Conference foes meeting in the state C1 title matchup. And then in D2, Hildreth and Hampton complete our afternoon session of boys state championship games. And then tonight, boy, the 3 excellent ball games tonight. That's some good ones coming up. Terwilliger takes timeout as he's trapped. Deshler doing a good job playing that trapping defense, but I'm afraid it's a little too late for the Dragons. As if they could come back from this 22-point deficit with only 3:13 remaining, I'm sure it would go down as the greatest comeback of all time in state tournament history.
We talked a little bit about the attendance at the state boys basketball tournament this year. What a contrast from last week, when at the girls state tournament, the cold and snowy and freezing weather kept the crowds down. Just the opposite this week. Great weather and great crowds. I tell you, last night it was incredible here at the Sports Center. They had to lock the doors. About 2,000 people were outside waiting to get in. During that Alliance Columbus game, the place was packed to the rafters. The two-day total in attendance, 80,845. Usually the last day they average about 15 to 20,000 fans, which would put the total up near 100,000 this year. And the previous all-time record came in 1976 at 90,952. A lot of people thought that number was kind of unapproachable. That was the first year the tournament was ever at the Sports Center, and they are really probably going to shatter it this year. Corey Wilbeck gets the steal for Deshler. Throws it off to Simonson. No. And Terwilliger goes high for the rebound. Grant has really done a job on the board, limiting Deshler to just one shot each trip down the floor. The teams have really shot the same in this game. Terwilliger is almost knocked away. Who is it off of? Off of Casey Fangmeyer. Both teams have not shot the ball real well in this game, Dick, around 35 to 40%, but the big difference has been in the rebound department, where Grant has really controlled things. Kurt Simonson, number 25 for Deshler, playing at the point on this trapping defense for Deshler, and there he gets the foul. Simonson suffered a cut in his forehead, maybe you can see it there, and had 7 stitches taken in the first rounds of the tournament. But turned out that he's been okay and has been able to play despite having that cut. And now it looks like Grant is going to start bringing in some reserves off the bench. Carl Lundquist goes to the bench, 6'5" senior, completes his career at Grant, it looks like, and he had 10 points today. Terry Lowe hits his first. He now has 16 in the game. Gets the bonus. Grant has out-rebounded Deshler 41 to 23 in this game. When you're out-rebounded that much, it's hard to win games. Lowe gets them both. He's got 17, and it's now 59 to 35. 2:20 to go in the ball game. The Grant Plainsmen will win the Class C2 state championship. And only 2 seniors start on this Grant team. The foul on Tim Andreessen is first. And it looks like the other senior, Kerry Lowe, might be sitting down. Let's see. That's it for Kerry. He is the other senior along with Lundquist. And they give him a big round of applause as Coach Larry Pritchett starting to empty his bench. At the free throw line will be Russ Hoffmeyer. He has 3 points in the game. Russ hits the front of the rim and gets the shooter's bounce to earn the bonus. The Class C1 game to follow. Sutton and Sandy Creek. Dick, I really think that one's going to be a treat. Those two teams know a lot about each other. They have been big rivals for a long time, and now they meet in the state championship game. Now more subs for Grant. Brent Patrick comes in. Mark Logler. There you see Todd Siskel at the bench getting congratulations from the coaching staff over there. Troy Terwilliger goes out. This is Pritchett. He has it taken away by Simonson. Kurt will give off to Fangmeyer, and Casey hits it. Casey now has 5. 59 to 39. 2 minutes to go. Swan, right side. That's Patrick. There's Swan. Pritchett with the ball. He's the only starter still in the lineup. As it looks like Grant will just work the clock down.
for the time being. I'm sure pretty soon they'll start attacking the basket again. Frustrating time, I'm sure, for Deshler, and there's the foul on Simonson. Craig Olson, 6-foot sophomore, comes in for Grant, as does Brandon Stritt, 6'1" sophomore. So some of the reserves getting a chance to see what it's like to play in a state championship game. Well, and I think it's always fun to get to play on this Devaney floor. It is just a fantastic arena here, a fantastic floor, a lot of spring, and I think as much as anything, getting to the finals, one of the big thrills for especially the smaller class schools who they have to make it to the finals to get onto this floor, and that's one of the big thrills. And Pritchett gets his first point of the game. Tony Schultz, 6'1" junior, is in for Deshler. Chad Fox, 5'11" junior, comes in for the Dragons. Yes, of course, the tournament starts at 4 sites, and the C and D classes are playing their games at East High, Lincoln Southeast, and Pershing Auditorium before they get here to the Sports Center. Pritchett gets them both, and now checking in as Troy will take a place on the bench. Craig Olson is in now. And this becomes the announcer's nightmare where we have all new players. After Corey Wilbeck has the ball knocked out of his hands, and now checking in the final man for Grant. Chris Jensen goes in. David Swan will sit down. And in for Deshler, here comes Gail Peterson, a 5'10" sophomore. And the Deshler fans applauding their team as they had a great season. Looks like they'll finish 20-4. Shot no good by Deshler's Hockenberg, and now we have a traveling call. The final 53 seconds will be played by reserve players as Grant will win the C2 championship. They lead it by 22 points. I felt Grant would be the favorite in this game, but I didn't expect this type of game by the Plainsmen. Well, they had that 3-point game in the semifinals yesterday. But Grant is leading by 22 now. Jump ball, the alternating possession. It will go over to Grant. 39 seconds left. And it's thrown away as it goes off the hands of Mark Logler. 31 seconds, all that's left of the Class C2 state championship game. The first of 6 we'll be televising here today. Ball saved. Who's going to come up with it? It will be Gail Peterson. And Gail is fouled. So Gail Peterson, a 5'10" sophomore, will get a chance to score his first ever points here at the Bob Devaney Sports Center. In fact, Gail has not scored in the state tournament yet. Played in each of Deshler's first 2 games here in Lincoln. But it's no good for Gail. In and out. And now we have a foul the other way. The Grant fans behind us chanting, "We want track." They'd like to make it a triple this year. #1 in football and basketball. And of course, the track season probably starts on Monday for these Grant players. I'm sure they've got some individuals that can do some things in track and field, too. That as athletic as that Troy Terwilliger is, that he could probably be a long jumper, high jumper, something like that. And we've been saying it throughout the day, or throughout the morning here, he's only a sophomore. And another Terwilliger, just a freshman at 6'3", is also coming up. Don't be surprised if you see this Grant team here again next year. Only 2 seniors start. A lot of returning people. 8 seconds to go in the Class C2 championship game. Grant will win it. Here comes Deshler, trying to get a last-second shot off. With 1 second to go, Schnockenberg was fouled. Boy, and he almost had a chance for a 4-point play there. That was a 3-point attempt, and it just went in and out. So he'll be getting 2 shots now. Interestingly enough, each of these teams only made 1 3-point field goal apiece. Last week we saw the girls make a few more. So free throw is good by Jamie, and he is now in the books with a point. Second one also good. 1 second to go. Length of the floor shot is no good, but Grant wins the Class C2 state championship with a 61-41 win over Deshler. We'll be back with the trophy and medal presentations right after this. The Grant Plainsmen are cutting down the nets at the Devaney Sports Center after posting a 61-41 win over Deshler to win the 1989 State Class C2 Boys Basketball Championship. Grant completes a double after winning the State C2 football title earlier this year. Individual scoring for Deshler, first of all. Corey Wilbeck led the way with 13 points. He was the only Deshler player in double figures. Greg Smith had 8. Casey Fangmeyer and Ross Hoffmeyer each had 5. Kurt Simonson had 4. Murray Hagen, Lenny Fangmeyer, and Jamie Schnockenberg had 2 apiece to account for the Deshler 41. For Grant, 4 players in double figures, just the way they averaged this year. They also had 4 men averaging in double figures coming into the state tournament. Kerry Lowe led the way with 17 points and 17 rebounds, most of those coming in the first quarter when Grant really established control, especially inside under the boards. Todd Siskel had 12, Troy Terwilliger had 14, and Carl Lundquist had 10. Troy Pritchett added 2, David Swan 4, and Tim Andreessen 2 to account for the Grant 61 points. Grant led at 33-21 at halftime, led by as many as 24 points in this second half, and Grant goes on to win it by 20, 61-41. And there's Deshler getting the runner-up trophy. Now, let's turn it over to Ray Falstead as he announces the names of all the players on the Grant team to get first-place medals, and we'll see the Grant team awarded the state championship trophy.
And now to the champion. First, Coach Pritchard, we have a special award for you. Now, Coach, hand out the gold medals to your championship team members. We'll introduce them one by one. Chris Jensen. Kim Andreessen. Craig Olson. David Swan. Trent Patrick. Mark Flagler. Brandon Stritt. Todd Siskel. Troy Pritchard. Troy Terwilliger. Carl Lundquist.
Carrie Lowe. There's one award left, the 1989 Class C2 High School Basketball Trophy. Come and get it, champs. Congratulations, Grant Perkins County High School. We would ask that the spectators, as they are leaving, please exit to your right.
So Grant wins the 1989 Class C2 State Boys Championship. Let's take a quick look at the final stats. And we will see that Grant shot 38% from the field, but Deshler only shot 27%. The big story, the rebounding. Grant with 45 rebounds to 24 for Deshler, and Grant wins it 61-41. We'll be back to talk with the winning coach and his players from Grant after this timeout. The first of 6 State Boys Basketball Championship games is in the books, as Grant has won the C2 title with a 61-41 win over Deshler. The Class C1 state championship between Sutton and Sandy Creek is coming up, to be followed by the D2 title game between Hildreth and Hampton. We'll be back to talk with the Grant Plainsmen, C2 state football and basketball champions for this season in just...
Whether it's life in a blistering desert, a frozen wasteland, or a tropical rainforest, nature has been there. Now relive the drama, the comedy, and the beauty as nature looks back on some of its greatest moments.
Be watching Wednesday night at 8:30.
Oh, I've seen fire and I've seen rain.
James Taylor in concert.
I'll see
In his first television special. Don't miss it.
See it Thursday night at 8 on Nebraska ETV.
Don't miss Sesame Street, weekdays on Nebraska ETV.
Happy 20th season, Sesame Street.
The Grant Plainsmen have won the Class C2 state championship with a 61-41 win over Deshler. With me is Coach Larry Pritchett. And Coach, you said this is your second state championship with Grant, but you didn't coach the team in '84. It's been a while.
Yeah, sometimes I wonder how smart I am. I left in '73. Didn't see all the Jackmans and Youngs coming, so I'm lucky. I'm not very smart, but I'm lucky.
Compare this one. 1968, you won the state championship with Grant to the one this year.
Well, they're both, really sweet, but I don't think they'd ever be old hat. This one was good. The first one was always good, I guess. You can't have two if you don't get one, but this bunch of kids is a really talented bunch of kids, and with a state championship in football, we had a lot of material to work with, and it was one of those things not to screw them up coaching, I guess. Get them the ball and let them play, and they've done a super job all year long.
One thing I was impressed is the teams of Grant in the past seemed to be kind of, Bill Jackman's team, Ryan Young's team. This was a really well-balanced, well-rounded team, wasn't it?
Well, if there was a similarity between the two, that with the 68 and this one, that has to be it, because we had the 68 team had 4 kids that averaged like 11 to 13. We got 4 that averaged from 11 to 13 here, too. So, we had balance, and when somebody didn't get it done, somebody else picked it up. And, we had a great play from Carl Lundquist today and yesterday, and Troy Twilliger had a heck of a series, and Kerry Lowe came in today, and he had been struggling a little bit, and he did a super job. I got a boy playing, and I'm really proud of Troy. He doesn't score a lot, but he does so many things that makes the club move. And, they're all just a great bunch of kids. I told them before we came down here that we might not be the most talented, but we really got a good bunch of kids. There isn't a kid on there that you couldn't like or you wouldn't want for a son. And, they've worked hard all year long, and I'm really happy for them.
Well, that's a great tribute, and they played a great game today. I'm sure you didn't expect this kind of game in the final.
Well, the first couple games, if you'd have looked ugly win up in the dictionary, there might have been a picture of Grant. I didn't think we played all that well. You know, we played well enough to win, but the other thing is I got a couple of assistant coaches that scouted while we were here, and John Stritt and Marlon Swilliger did a super job, and they had the game plan pretty well laid out for today, and the kids came in and executed just, you know, we couldn't ask for any better. I don't know what we shot, but I know we out-rebounded, and we were really on the boards, and we told them early that was what we thought the key would be, and you know, the kids got the job done.
Well, Lowe had 17 points and 17 rebounds. He was really a big player.
Yeah, you know, he struggled shooting the first two games, but he does other things that people sometimes don't see. But, you know, 17 boards, you know, that does all the talking. You know, that's great. He did a super job.
With all these young players, I have a feeling Grant might be back again
to the state tournament the next couple of years.
Well, we hope so. We came last year. We were here, and I started 3 sophomores and 2 juniors, and we got 2 seniors that play quite a bit. You know, well, played all the time this year. And I've got some young kids, a couple freshman kids, another Twilliger kid that's about 6'4". You know, they're gonna. I hope we're gonna be back. You never know, but I know they'll work hard at it.
Well, congratulations, Coach, and a great state championship.
Yeah, we're gonna enjoy it. Thank you.
Coach Larry Pritchett of the Grant Plainsmen. We'll be back to talk with the Grant players right after this.
This week is Pledge Week on Nebraska ETV, but you won't hear these phones ring today. That's because we're bringing you today's programs with no interruptions. If you're enjoying our programs, consider making a pledge of $20 or more to Nebraskans for Public Television. We depend on your support to keep our programs on the air. Send your check to Nebraskans for Public Television, Post Office Box 83111, Department M, Lincoln, Nebraska 68501.
The Grant Plainsmen with an impressive C2 state championship win over Deshler. With me is Carl Lundquist, 6'5" senior for the Grant team, and this has got to feel good getting the state championship. I know I saw kind of an emotional moment with your brother. Maybe tell me the story behind that.
Well, when he was a senior, they were state runners-up, and I sat up in the stands that game, and I made up my mind then that I was going to win a state championship my senior year, so that's kind of the background behind that.
So you kind of did it for your brother as much as for you a little bit, keeping it. What about, you know, I'm sure you watched all the years with the Jackmans and the Youngs and all those guys, watch them celebrate state championships. How is it to be there yourself?
Oh, it means a lot more, for one thing. It means a lot more to be here playing in the state championship. The feeling is indescribable. It's just a great feeling,
It's got to be nice to keep the tradition, too, going for Grant. Let's take a look at one of your points here. You had 10 points in the game, and nice turnaround jumper, probably. Outside jumper, yeah, I guess, there.
That's a pretty nice shot.
It seemed like one thing with your team that you guys were really well balanced. Yesterday, you kind of carried the team a little bit. And, you know, today, Kerry kind of took over, and that seems to be the trademark of this team.
That's right. You know, when Bill Jackman and Ryan Young, when they won state championships, they were averaging 30, 35 points a game. And this year, I think it was more of a team. You know, we had 4 guys that averaged double figures, and, you know, if one guy's down, then another guy can pick up, and that's a big plus, a big advantage.
Okay, congratulations, Carl, on state championship. Let's bring in Kerry Lowe. I don't know if you know the numbers yet, Kerry, but you had 17 points and 17 rebounds. That is an incredible game.
Wow.
That's your only comment. Wow.
That's the only one. It's the only one I can think of right now, but, you know, this is kind of a dream, you know. You get a football one, then basketball. It's anybody's dream. It's the ultimate right now.
You did a good job. Let's take a look at one of your baskets. You were kind of outside on offense and inside on the defensive boards. Just a nice shot here. Nothing but net, right?
Yeah, it was nothing but net.
Did you think that you could control the boards that way? 17 rebounds in one game.
I really didn't know. I just sort of worked my way from underneath the basket and just sort of come out, and the ball bounced the right way for me.
Hey, you guys just seemed to get more and more confident as the game went along.
Yeah, that's part with it. You know, you get in this big gym, this beautiful gym, and it's, you know, everybody's kind of awestruck at first, but you know, you get that first bucket or that first steal or something, and it's all right. I mean, jitters are all gone and everything, so you're ready to play normal.
You call this a gym, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Nice place, though, isn't it?
It's beautiful.
What about in this comparison to the football state championship? About the same, or?
This is probably a little bit better. This is a little bit better because, you know, we've been working just as hard, if not more, for this one, because the second one in the same year is just all that much tougher.
Well, congratulations. A great win today.
Thank you.
Let's bring in Todd Stiskel now. And Todd, why do you get to carry around the trophy here?
I just haven't held it, and it feels great because we put a lot of work in at the park, and this is well-deserved.
You had 12 points in today's game, made a couple of three-point shots. Let's take a look at one of them here. Watch your monitor. Needed some of that to maybe take off some of the pressure inside.
Well, I just got it to go. I've been struggling this whole tournament, and this one, it felt good.
That would really seem to be a key with this team, too, was you guys were really a team that one or two guys could struggle, and you had people to pick you up.
Yeah. Yesterday's game, the first quarter, Carl really pulled us through, and then Troy pulled us through that third quarter. He got on, and we're just a great team all over.
Okay, congratulations. Let's bring in Troy Terwilliger. Troy had 14 points. This is quite a sophomore year for you. You quarterback the football team. Now you win a state championship in basketball, too. Can you top this the next couple of years?
I don't know. It's going to be tough. We just had a great bunch of juniors and seniors this year and a lot of hard work, and that's what it pays off to.
We got a bucket of you coming up. You really like to work it inside. Here you're triple teamed, and you still get the bucket to go down.
Well, we work a lot on post moves all year long, and our assistant coaches really do a good job of posting up and where to drop, feel where the guy is, and go to the bucket. So that's what we're doing inside today.
I'm sure you've been hanging around the years when the Jackmans and the Youngs and those guys were down here. Tell me, compare the feeling watching them and now kind of being here yourself. It has to be kind of a dream.
Yeah, I think I went to a state tournament like 7 or 8 years previous to when we finally got down here last year. And watching the other teams was great, and that's just tradition, but to be here yourself and to win it, that's just the dream come true.
Now, what about Grant? You only have 2 senior starters. You expect to maybe be back here in the winner's circle a year from now?
Well, we hope so. If we work hard like we did this year, get in the weight room, pump the weights, and shoot the baskets tonight, and we're going to be down here.
Okay, congratulations, Troy. Here's David Swan, and David kind of came off the bench and had a pretty good game. That had to be fun out there.
Yeah, it's a great experience, and I don't know, I just like to do it again next year a couple times.
You guys are getting greedy now. Football, basketball, now you're already talking next year.
Well, that's what we work for, and we try hard, so.
That's to make the community proud, too. Just all the tradition, you know, keeping it up. In the western end of the state, you guys, I'm sure, a lot of times feel like you don't get all the respect you deserve.
Yeah, the community, they really back us, and they send us off pretty good. They're really supportive, so we appreciate their support, and we really enjoy it.
Okay, congratulations, David. Grant, the winners of the Class C2 State Championship, a 61-41 win over Deshler. We'll be back to talk with Danny Nee right after this.
The Class C1 State Boys Basketball Championship between Sutton and Sandy Creek will be coming up next. The University of Nebraska basketball team opened play in the Big 8 tournament in Kansas City last night with a 98-70 loss to Missouri. That leaves the Huskers with a 16-15 record and wondering whether they'll get an NIT bid tomorrow. Before he left for Kansas City, I had this visit with NU coach Danny Nee.
Coach, let me ask you first, just to look back on this season that you've had for Nebraska this year.
Dick, a lot of ups and downs. You know, we knew coming in we had a young basketball team. We were very pleased with our trip to Hawaii. We were confident of our non-conference part of our schedule with the wins and losses. In the Big 8, a couple of games at home. I really look back, you look over K-State, you look at the loss at Colorado, Missouri and Oklahoma. We played Oklahoma such a tough game here that if we could have just maybe got that one early. But then our young basketball team that we had seasoned with the veterans, we were up and down. But I don't think it was much Nebraska as it was our opponents. There were a lot of people that just played well against us, and I give a lot of credit to Kansas State. I think Lonnie Kruger's team has just overachieved and done a magnificent job. Then the Iowa State group, They handled adversity. They lost Dorfeld. They lost a couple of other people, Robinson. They came on and got stronger and stronger. The thing probably most disappointing about Nebraska this year is I thought we'd be a better shooting basketball team. I thought we'd put the ball in the basket, both inside and outside, with more regularity. Even we were the lowest shooting team from the free throw line. And I just think, you know, at times during the game, inexperience, tightness, handling the situations of guys taking their shot, but changing it because of pressure defense or tightening up and missing a free throw, where just a lack of concentration where we didn't sustain it over the year. That's the disappointing part. The great thing is that we have a lot of people back, and I really feel that, you know, we're building on a winning, confident type atmosphere here. I don't think we're ever going to have the program where we're going to consistently be like a Georgetown or a Syracuse or someone like that, but I do certainly think we have lots of room for improvement. I have to do a better job coaching. I have to do a better job recruiting. We have to keep developing our players, but we've stabilized. We had a 2.7 grade point average first semester. We've cut down on our turnover. Youngsters are progressing on track towards graduation. We're not having major distractions off the court like other programs are having. We think we got student athletes, and in time, you know, if you do things right and you work hard and you keep consistently at it, eventually it paid off. A perfect example is a tribute to Tony Baroni and the Creighton team, the great job that they did. But they came in, they paid their dues, they worked at it, they developed players, and that's our goal, is to do the same thing.
Let me ask you to assess Nebraska high school basketball talent for what you know about it this past season.
I really like it, Dick. You know, I've been a very active fan. I've gone out with my assistants and I when we were allowed to go out. But I see a lot of high school basketball in the summer in our basketball camp, and a lot of the teams that come to the state over the years, you know, Wahoo, Pius, you know, East, Bellevue West, all of them have been in our basketball camp, so I'm very familiar with the coaches and the players. I don't get out to see as many D's and C schools, but, you know, we recruited a youngster from a C school, Atkinson Westall. You know, Bruce Chubbuck, they didn't make it to state this year. They were here last year, but I think the coaching in Nebraska is excellent. I mean, excellent on all levels. We see, you know, Sandy Creeks, the Battle Creeks. You know, we see some really quality small school Alliance. You know, they come in here from the western part of the state. They're very well coached. I find that for me, for recruiting, we don't have as many youngsters as I like to draw from. But I simply think two reasons. One, we're an agricultural state. We're not a rural state. You know, we have two large pockets, Lincoln and Omaha, and our population base is there, you know. For Nebraskans, we think it's big, but when there's 27 million in California and 14 or 15 million in metropolitan New York, 2 million or 1.5 million in Nebraska is not a heck of a lot. Chicago, 8 million. I think the only negative we have is that we don't have the numbers to draw from, because if there were more babies and more little boys and girls playing basketball, there'd be more taller kids, there'd be more kids to draw from. And that's the only negative I see.
Let's talk a little bit about Bruce Chubbuck, your only in-state recruit at this point.
I'm very excited about him. I'm excited about him because of his work ethic. He's an overachiever, totally dedicated, very physical player. But now he has to make the transition from C to major college, Big 8, and that's tough. And, you know, a lot of people compared him to Bill Jackman and different other peoples, and I don't think that's a fair comparison. Bruce Chubbuck is Bruce Chubbuck. He's a good shooter, good rebounder, a coach's son. The thing that'll make Bruce, if he's going to be the player that I think he's capable of becoming, it's going to be his work ethic. He's good now, but he'll work hard and get better, bigger, stronger. And his running mate, you know, Chris Peacock's another fine athlete. You know, we're not recruiting him. We'd like him to come as maybe as a walk-on here. But right now, you know, he's a sleeper. To see the state tournament here now, the enthusiasm, the good coaching, it's run first because I think Mr. Riley does a great job with it. You know, to have it in our building, I think, is an honor, and it's great.
Okay. Coach, thanks very much, and good luck in the future.
Thank you.